everyone, welcome back to Poppin In with Alexa and Molly. I'm Alexa.
I'm Molly.
And today we're going to be do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Getting ready to celebrate some music.
I loved it.
Thank you. I actually feel like that wasn't that bad, but...
No, it sounded good. I just wasn't going to participate.
I thought you were.
I know you
Full
did.
Clarity, I did mention this 3 seconds before I started recording.
I didn't know you wanted me to. I actually thought you were going to start off doing it.
I thought we were going to have like one of those
confused.
twins in sync moments.
I really didn't want to sing, so I just wasn't. It was not the vibe tonight.
Okay, that's
I didn't
fair.
feel that in my spirit. But
Anyways, welcome back. We're going to be getting into some topics like the Grammys and some
Hamnet.
Hamnet. Yeah, we're really going to be getting on a different
we have a lot of
spectrum.
good topics tonight. I mean, you guys need to settle in. This is about to be a 3.5 hour long episode.
Yeah, we
It's
were
not,
just like
but-
giggling, messing up our mascara, laughing.
Aw.
But what are you popping with this week?
Okay, forgot that we ask each other this. And
Every week, yep.
I know.
Just
I
kidding.
think, honestly, I feel like I'm popping in with so many things, and I'm not totally sure what to narrow it down to. You go
Okay.
first.
Well, I have to say, I need to clarify I have a cold, so I'm sorry if I like cough into the microphone. I'm going to really try not to. I'm going to try to hold my sickness in for you guys. That's not what I'm popping in with, though. I'm popping with this week Bridgerton, actually.
Oh my God, is that out?
The first, they did the thing, first part of the season is out. The second part comes out at the
Yeah.
end of February. And you know what? It's getting a lot of bad reviews. Like, people are saying it doesn't make sense. But I'm here to say, I actually didn't like Bridgerton as a period piece bitch, as you know. I didn't like Bridgerton when it first came out. It was so historically inaccurate. The second season really did it for me. But I'm like, you know what? It's winter. It's dreary. I have a cold. And I'm watching these people in these beautiful, like, pastel colors. And they're all wealthy and hot as could be. Walking around, falling in love in stupid ways that don't make sense. And in a world where every day you wake up and it's a new atrocity, I'm like, sure. Let me watch these people do whatever they're doing.
I think I had the opposite of you. I watched Bridgerton when it first came out. Like, I watched the first season, and I was kind of into it at first, and then by the end of the season, I was like, I'm good.
No,
And then I never watched a single episode after that.
I hated the the first season, and it was the second season that I was like, I think that's the best season so far.
Oh,
I love that
That
season.
seems to be the one
I
that
think you
everybody
would
loves.
like the second season. It's like the first season pissed me off so much.
There was a lot of problems with it.
Yeah.
But I think I'm good. I think I'm just good.
Yeah.
I'm really not a huge Shonda Rhimes fan.
I'm not usually either. And like Bridgerton is one of those things, like it's not, if you ask me to rank my period pieces, which maybe I will one day.
Yeah.
It would not be up there, but it's just like, again, in the dreary, we're going through it. And on the 75th day of January, it really just like brings some lightness to the world, you know?
Yeah. I get it.
Yeah. I mean, it came out February 1st, but it felt like, it was 4 degrees outside, so.
It actually was.
Yeah.
Fair. You know what I'm popping in with? It's weird.
Okay.
I'm popping in with Daniel Day-Lewis.
Whoa.
I know.
That's crazy. The Last
I know.
Mohican?
No, well, yes, but that's not. So one of my favorite movies of all time is There Will Be Blood. Mm-hmm. And I showed it to Matthew this weekend because he had actually never seen it. We watched it last night. And I was like, I think you'll really like this. And then I was watching it, and I've never thought about this before, but I was like, he's kind of hot.
I think you're in your, like, old man hot era.
Oh, I've been in that era for a long time.
Because you were, like, talking about Stellan Skarsgård, and you were like, I've never seen a hotter old man.
Because I've always had, but I've been attracted to him for, like, years.
And the thing is, I was like, interesting take, but I was like, for an older gentleman,
He looks great.
I could see it, yeah. He looks, I've noticed he looks, now that he's not playing, like, a floating blob in Dune,
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, him and Alexander, they have very similar, like, apple tree.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
We'll talk more about him when we talk about a review. But I was going to say that Alexander Skarsgård hosted SNL this weekend, and Stellan was in, like, several sketches. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, he looks good.
Also, fun family.
Fun family. I would love to be part of that family.
Who's Mrs. Skarsgård?
I don't know.
Who's Mama Scar?
I don't know. They have like 1 million kids.
That's true. They just keep like inventing new Skarsgårds.
Yeah, I think he does have like several. Like I think they're from different.
Okay, that makes sense because none of them look alike at all. Really, I feel.
What?
I feel like Alexander and what's his name?
Bill.
Bill.
You don't think they look alike?
No.
What? That's crazy.
They're just both giants. But
no, I think their faces look alike.
Interesting. I don't think so.
They're such a hot family.
Yeah. But you know what else is hot?
What?
These tracks that they were laying down at the Grammys.
Aw. We're talking about the Grammys tonight.
Yeah. So if you didn't know, the Grammys happened last night, as in Sunday, because we're recording on a Monday, 2026. And a lot happened. So
I don't watch the Grammys.
Okay. I wasn't going to out you, but yes.
Yeah.
But you know what happened. Like, you do a lot of the recap.
I have the recap, yeah. I know all the key points, the key players.
Yeah. I will say the Grammys is like my least, I don't really care that much about it, but we watched it.
Yeah.
Chris loves the Grammys.
I figured you guys
He's a big
were
music
watching
guy.
Yeah. He's our music correspondent.
Who's not here today. We asked him to come on and he was like,
Yeah. We've never been turned down before.
Yeah, actually that's true. It's rude.
Who does he think he is?
I know. But so let's start with the fashion.
Okay.
So we gotta, free the nip here a little bit and start out with Chappell Roan. That was crazy.
That was really crazy. And also, okay, so we got to talk about the mechanics of it.
Yes.
Because, okay, so I think the dress was clamped to her nipple piercings, right?
Yeah, I think it was like on her nipple piercings.
Okay. There's so many questions I have with that. First of all, that sounds really painful. It was kind of a heavy dress.
Yeah.
So, unless I'm missing something, I wonder if it wasn't actually.
I think the part that, it was only one part of her dress that was hooked onto it, and that doesn't seem too heavy. It seemed like a light, chiffon type thing.
So if someone had stepped on her dress.
Oh, really?
No, I said if someone had stepped on her dress, it wouldn't be a...
chaos.
Yeah.
Blood everywhere.
Ugh.
It made me laugh. So she was wearing a thing over it originally that you couldn't tell, and then she took it off, and there was, I think Dumas posted this photo where it's like Jamie Foxx is giving her direction in his big ass hat, and she's just like tits out.
No, I don't think he was giving her direction. I saw the video. It's really funny. He's like, he's telling her his kids love her, and he might be pointing at them or something, but he like kind of like looks down at them at one point. It's really funny.
How could you not?
No, it's crazy.
It's wild.
What do you think about her attitude?
Okay, when she was presenting, I forget what it was, but I was just like, she basically was presenting, like, was it Best New Artist or whatever, and because she won last year, and I was just like, God, she does not want to be there. Like, they had to drag her. She was like, yeah, so apparently it's now a tradition that, if you won last year, like, you should present to the new person.
No,
and
that's not a now, it's isn't that always how it is?
I think it's been
maybe
like
for the
past,
Grammys.
yeah, I don't know.
But that's like how it is at other award shows.
She just like, and at one point, I forget who was performing, and they like kind of went to Chappell Roan. She literally was like yawned and was falling asleep, and you could tell they like took the camera off of her so fast.
Well, and we'll get to this, but when Cher did her thing, like she like made a face, and I'm like,
her attitude is so rude.
It's so rude, and it's just nasty, especially for someone like who is still, I consider her still relatively new to the industry. Sorry, but I do. Like, there's a difference between standing up for yourself and just like being rude. I know, she just seems like she has the worst attitude. Yeah. And maybe I'm just, I don't know her, so maybe that's, you know how some people come across as mean, but then when you get to know them, you're like, oh, that's just, you're abrasive, like, you just seem abrasive, but you're not. Yeah. Maybe that's her. Maybe. But she just, you're on stage at the Grammys, again, you're kind of new to the industry, and you're gonna give that, like.
It was, like, kind of just blatantly, like, I was just like, oh,
and she made a face when she read the, like, winner, too. Yeah. It was, like, weird.
It was strange.
But I did notice, I think it was Sabrina, somebody was on the red carpet where they were like, oh, you guys are quiet. Like, because they're, like, the photographers were, like, really quiet. Like, it was, like, a weirdly quiet red carpet. And they were like, oh, Chappell scared you. Like,
yeah, they're all, quiet. Like, cowering in fear. Yeah. That's funny. She's like, yeah, I'll bring my sword back. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so that was a crazy outfit for the red carpet. But some honorable mentions, or, like, other people. So Lady Gaga's, I wrote in here Lady Gag. Whoops. She wore like
gagged
this,
you.
this whole, it's like this black feather outfit that was like kind of like draping around her. Weird Gaga's back, and I'm here for it.
It did make me laugh when Jelly Roll was like up on stage doing his thing, and he's talking about like God and like the Bible, and then here she comes like like her devil Catholic, like her like devil.
I love it.
Like whole thing. It's
Which
so
Chris read this tweet earlier. Someone was like, "Wow, Jelly Roll got on Ozempic, and it's turning him into a religious zealot or something like that." And it was just like, I literally, when he was giving his speech, I was like, "Why do I feel like I'm at like a strange Southern Baptist church where he's just like, and I feel the Spirit of God in this Chili's tonight, and thank you to the Academy."
I actually think he's always been like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, he kind of gives that vibe because he's like been through it. So he feels like somebody who would be that, like, and now, like, you know, I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know, but I was just like, oh, yeah, interesting.
It was interesting.
I also loved Bad Bunny, which I put in here as Bob Bunny in my notes.
Aww.
I don't know what's going on here.
Autocorrect was pissing me off today, trying to put my notes in my phone.
Me too. I don't know if it's this update or what. But anyways, he had this great little, like, cutout, like, tuxedo.
He looked really good.
We'll get into him. I am obsessed with him. Teyana Taylor has the flattest stomach I've ever seen.
I know.
Her dress was like, I was like, this is the fittest woman in the world.
If I were her, I would have my stomach out just all the time.
I think she usually does.
Yeah, she does. And I told Chris,
I was like, she must not eat any bread. It's crazy.
I don't know.
Props to her, because, like, a flat stomach is really tough to get. And it's, like, muscular, too.
It's muscular.
Yeah. Then Olivia Dean had this beautiful, like, black and white ball gown. It was very elegant. Really didn't know she was British until tonight, so that's a fun... Or until last night. Yeah, last night.
Until just now.
Yeah. I love that Malice, Pusha T, and Pharrell Williams, they were wearing these, like, matching, like, kind of suede pink suits. Which also, like, I'll mention this, but I laughed so hard because... How old do you think Pharrell Williams is?
I feel like he's in his 40s, right?
He's 52.
Okay, I was like, maybe he's close to 50.
And so all these people, they're from Virginia Beach, actually. Yeah. So Virginia got a lot of shout outs last night because they won the, like, Pharrell won, like, the World Impact Award or whatever, which is, like, a Dr. Dre award.
Did anyone ever see his Lego movie?
Oh, yeah, it was hugely popular.
His Lego movie? I never heard one other thing about it other than when I saw the preview.
From 2013?
I'm talking about his Lego movie.
Oh,
do you think I was just randomly bringing up the Lego movie?
Yeah, I was like, yeah, I think that was pretty popular. I was like,
why would you think I would just randomly bring that up?
I was like, did he have a song in it? I don't know.
Alexa, I was like, there's no way it was that popular. He had a Lego movie come out. It was like about his life. I'm sure Virginia Beach is like a location in it, but am I dreaming that?
No, you're right. I remember, I just like, at first I thought.
Was I hallucinating?
I was like, I'm pretty sure the Lego movie made like.
You answered it so quickly too.
I just always, I go immediately to Lego, the Lego movie.
I said his Lego movie. That's why for a second I was like, wait, really?
It's billions, yeah. I'm just kidding. But anyways, He was like, yeah, like in my 52 years. And what made me laugh is like you could hear someone in the crowd go 52. Because like if you see him, you're like, whoa, that's crazy. But anyway, so they were wearing like matching little suits that were really cute.
Little suits.
And then Karol G was wearing this like really beautiful like blue dress that I loved. And Sabrina Carpenter wore this kind of like it felt like almost like a 1920s.
She looked so good. She was my favorite dress.
There was some fashion that I hated. One, Miley Cyrus.
Yeah.
Also, she was sitting with her fiance, who I was like, he looks like a child. But whatever. But the leather, like, bagginess, I could not do that. Lola Young, who did end up winning.
Yeah.
I hated, she was wearing, like, almost, like, not velour, but, like, high-end, like, sweats type of thing.
I think this is her style.
Yeah. And I also just didn't like her music. Chris read out this tweet. He was like, Lola Young is like if you took Adele and Amy Winehouse and smashed them together.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I could see that. And then Heidi Klum wore is like a naked dress, but it literally looked as though you took like the color of a crayon that's like nude and like melted it onto her.
I didn't see that. Ooh.
It was not a good dress. But anyways, so that's my thought on the fashion. Was there anything that you think I missed?
No.
A lot of the men's fashion didn't really stand out to me, as always. Bad Bunny also, I noticed when he went to accept his award, he had, like, this thing going down the back. It was almost like, it was like this intricate kind of like tie thing going down the back. I was like, oh, I like that. Yeah. I like when men at
really
least try.
Well, he always does. He's like definitely the type.
Oh, for
he
sure.
does not. He's not the like straight man that comes to the Met Gala just wearing a tie. Like he's always like
he shows out. He is an artist in a true form.
I was just gonna say, to start off with the award show, I'm just curious, how did you feel about Trevor Noah hosting?
Okay. I think he was fine. He wasn't. Once again, I think we should just make Nikki Glaser the host for all of these. I'm like, she's really been crushing it. Even when she went to go present an award, she was kind of funnier than Trevor Noah.
She looks pretty.
And eventually, she looked beautiful. I almost, she was an honorable mention on my list. Yeah. But when she came out, I was like, oh my God, stunning.
Yeah, well, she always is.
Yeah, but her and Teyana Taylor came out together. I was like, whoa, this stage. Yeah. Trevor Noah, it just felt uncomfortable, and I think there was maybe like something going on, because at certain points he was doing this thing where he was like kind of filling time. It felt like he was like, and who else is in the room? We've got so many famous people, and like basically just listing off
at the Grammys.
Yeah, he's like Justin Bieber, and it's like, duh.
I actually don't think Trevor Noah is very funny.
I don't either.
I think sometimes he is, but I don't think, because he's hosted things before, and I can't even remember like what, but maybe it's been the Grammys. I don't know, but he's hosted things before, and I'm like, I don't think he's funny.
Yeah. There was this one joke he said. So he had Kendrick Lamar like behind, like he was like, Kendrick Lamar is here, and he's like, isn't it great that like rap battles, they're different than they used to be now? Like, you're a whole investigative reporter. It's different than back in the day when you had a rap battle and you could get shot. Because he's like talking about like Tupac.
Right.
And you could just see like literally another guy's face was like, oh. And, like, I was just like, oh, I don't know.
Like, that wouldn't make me laugh. That's just, like, anyone could make that joke. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, that doesn't seem like he's a comedian, and sometimes I'm just like, do better.
Yeah.
You know? I don't know.
And he, like, so he had this whole thing where he was, like, talking to Bad Bunny about, like, oh, like, you can't perform because it's your contract, whatever. And the first time he did it, it was, like, so awkward and uncomfortable. But then he, like, came back, and it did end up being kind of funny. Where he was like singing it, and like Bad Bunny was like mouthing it kind of. Okay. But it was like, so his interviews with people were just like really uncomfortable.
Well, you know what it is? I think like it could be him, but I also think this is why a huge reason I don't really watch the Grammys is that I don't think, I don't know how to say this because this doesn't really make sense, because they are performers, but I don't think singers are very funny or what I'm about to say is not what I mean, but they're not entertaining in the way of like they're just not, they don't always, like they're not funny, or they don't always have like great personalities, whereas like I think like an actor can like,
they're good on the spot too.
Yeah.
And they're good at like playing up to the camera, whereas I think
singers are like, that's just not their thing.
That's not their medium.
Which is weird because they are performers, but
it's a different type of performance.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just, that's why it's always really uncomfortable to me.
Yeah.
For some reason. I don't know.
So I just, like, he was fine. Honestly, I was kind of over him. I was like, I'm glad it was his last year hosting, and he made a lot.
So does he host every year?
He's hosted past 6 years.
Okay, then that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, and he did make a lot of Donald Trump jokes though. So he did a lot of like, and
I saw he made a Nicki Minaj.
Yes, that actually was kind of funny. But
apparently Trump threatened to sue Trevor Noah.
Trevor Noah joked that he was like, I'll probably get he was like, I might get sued for this, but whatever.
Yeah, he's threatening to sue.
But so I want to like talk about the performances.
Yeah.
So what are the ones like? Okay, I'm curious because you didn't like see it live. So what are the ones that have like hit your feed as like being very popular?
Well, just the ones that I've seen a lot of is Sabrina Carpenter. Lauryn Hill is the one that I've seen the most. Sorry, I'm looking through the list and then just seeing. And then I've seen a lot of Addison Rae.
That's interesting.
But I'll get to that. But I'm trying to think. I don't know. Those are kind of the main ones. Oh, Lola Young, I did see. I've heard a lot about. I've seen a lot about.
You know what I will say? So like Lola Young and Addison Rae and all, like a bunch of them, they did the like up and coming artists all did a performance together. Yeah. And a lot of them, Addison Rae's I think was like pre-recorded. I don't think it was like.
And they shouldn't be allowed to do pre-recorded.
Yeah, because I was like, there's no way like she's like not even catching her breath.
No.
But like some of them I was like, they're kind of struggling like vocally a little bit, which is interesting.
I like Addison Rae she seems like a nice, lovely person, but I can't get behind her as, I think a lot of people are kind of marketing her as like a classic pop singer. It feels like we're going back to the early 2000s. But like, I just can't really get, like, do people actually think her music is good?
Okay, I enjoyed Diet Pepsi. I was like, oh, this is fun. Like, as pop. But then, like, she had some other song that came out, and someone, like, I saw people being like, this is the song of the year, like, this is art, and I listened to it, I was like, this is the dumbest song I've ever heard.
Yeah, I don't know, it's just interesting that, like, sometimes when it's, like, when she's, like, performing at the Grammys, I'm like, oh, like, we are actually really taking this seriously. And I mean that for real. Like, I'm not trying to, like, shit on her, but I just don't think of her as, like,
yeah.
I'm just surprised at how quickly she's risen to this level when I just don't think her music is that good. But do you have your favorites?
Yeah. So also I want to say, like, so it's interesting. Everyone really loves Sabrina Carpenter's. I think Sabrina Carpenter's here's the thing that I think was good about Sabrina Carpenter's is it was good for the audience at home and for, like, the audience in the studio, whatever, in the place, whatever. Whereas, like, so Lady Gaga, I did like her performance, but I was like, I feel like if you were there, it would have kind of sucked because, like, part of it was, like, her just, like, staring at the ground and, like, the camera angles were, like, moving. But if you were just there, you would just be watching her stare at the ground. So I liked her performance. My number one, I think, was Tyler, the Creator. His was great. Again, great for the audience at home and the audience there. He's just, like, so fun, and he's, like, kind of funny, but also serious. I also love his music, too.
Me too.
I just think he is, like, a all-around guy. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, he's talented in so many aspects.
Yeah, totally.
I also really enjoyed Clips. They performed right before, like, the last like, award was given, and Clips was the artist that Chris and I went and saw. They're a Virginia Beach artist. It's Pusha T, Malice, and then Pharrell, I think, sometimes comes in and out.
That's cool.
I was unfortunately wasted for seeing them, which I was sad about. I shouldn't have been so drunk. It was not on purpose. Not that, like, it was by accident, but it wasn't intentional. But I mean, the concert was great, but I liked their performance too, especially this is their first album in, I think, 15 years. And
that's crazy.
Chris was losing his mind because he was like, it's his number one album of the year. He loves them. He was having a blast. But I enjoyed, like, seeing their performance together. And I mean, those are my top. Oh, Justin Bieber in his boxers was interesting. It felt very intimate.
Okay.
He also has an interesting attitude, but that's not new.
Yeah, I feel like I just let it go, you know?
Yeah.
Like, whatever. Well, Billboard released they ranked their best performances. Their number one was Tyler, the Creator.
Okay. Yeah, his was good.
Their last place was Addison Rae.
Yeah.
Clips was number 12.
Interesting.
But, yeah. Lauryn Hill was number 8. I feel like Lauryn Hill was, like, to me, the best from what I saw.
Lauryn Hill was good. It was just, and I'm going to say this, and it's going to come across wrong. The In Memoriam was just so long, and it was at a point in the night where I was like, I am so tired. It was like, they did the regular one where it's like they're singing a sad song. Then they did one that was, like, dedicated to Ozzy, and, like, Post Malone came out, whatever. And then they did the one that was, like, dedicated to D'Angelo, and that was, but it's just, like, I was like, oh my god, we still have, like, 4 more awards to give out.
Yeah.
And commercial breaks. I was, like, looking at the clock, I was like, it's a Sunday.
Yeah.
I was like, my pumpkin's a patchin'.
Yeah.
I don't even know, I'm
you
making
were
that
home,
a phrase.
So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, so, but it was a really good performance, and, like, I think it was a really nice tribute.
Yeah.
Just would have been better at, like, 8 p.m. to me personally.
Fair.
But yeah, those are my favorite performances of the night.
Yeah.
But also, so, like, let's go. Okay, there were some interesting awards. So Bad Bunny, once again in here as Bob Bunny, won Album of the Year, and it was such a nice, like, when they went and showed him, he literally, like, put his head in his hand.
I know, for a long time.
I love him. I love him so much. I think he seems like a genuinely good person. Obviously, his music, phenomenal.
Yeah.
And I just think he also is kind of like a Renaissance man. Like, he just seems, and it's just, like, I don't know, you think about, like, where he came from and who he is, and it was pretty incredible. And also, him, Billie Eilish, and a few others, like, had speeches that involved, like he had a really great speech about, like, immigrants are not, we're not aliens, we're not, you know, like, we're people, we're humans too. Like, Billie Eilish was like, you know, you can't kick anyone out of stolen land or whatever. No one's illegal on stolen land.
Yeah.
A lot of, I think it was Justin Bieber and Hailey Bieber were wearing like the ice out pins.
I have to say something about the ice pins.
Okay.
If you're going to wear one, you got to know what you're talking about.
Interesting.
And there were some people who I felt like, I saw somebody point out, they were like, did they just give these out at the door?
Yeah.
And like, if so, because, so Jack Antonoff was being interviewed and they were like, I see you're wearing, you know, like, tell me about your pin. And he just, it absolutely made no sense. He just started fumbling over his words and he literally goes, he was like, I'm speechless. It just truly, I can't even find words for it. And I'm like, do you even know what you're talking about? And I mean, you know, good on them for representing and, you know, but I think you should also be able to talk about it. Yeah. Otherwise, it just looks like you're showing without
you're just like, oh, this is going to be good for me.
That's what it gives off to me. So I just, that's the only thing with that. I'm like, you got to like be able to talk about it too. And surely they, you know, should have worked on that before going, but I don't know.
I mean, maybe it was like they just handed it to him at the door and they were like, sure, I guess so.
Maybe.
But there were a lot of like speeches and innuendos to like the current political climate, to the issues with ICE and immigration. And I thought it was like really powerful to kind of see that in like, first of all these like influencers and like money making type of people. Great. And to see, I'm like, I think this is going, it reminds me of almost like, you know how during the Vietnam War there was all this music that came out or whatever, and I'm like, I hope we see like more of that, like more of, less of, I like music with the impact, you know? Like it doesn't have to just be a bop, it can be a bop and like have meaning, and I think that I hope that maybe is what we're gonna see come out of like these tumultuous, unprecedented times or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Bad Bunny, phenomenal. Love him. Interestingly, Lola Young won, and this is such a strange category to me. She won Best Pop Solo Performance.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know what that means, but for that song Messy, which is a fine song. It's not it actually kind of annoys me, the up and down of it, but that was kind of, but it was interesting is they missed a fuck in the censorship.
Oh, yeah.
Which was very funny.
You know what I hate? How they censor, like, when it's like, usually it's like when they miss it, or it's like they bleep out so long, and it's always really awkward, so you miss, like, an entire sentence, almost. It's like, just, if you have a 5-second delay, just be better about bleeping one word. Like, you don't have to bleep out the entire sentence.
I remember when the Will Smith slap happened, I spent so much time finding an uncensored version of it. Because I guess they didn't censor it in like other countries or something. So I found like a Korean version. Where,
great.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, so that's what he said. Good to know. Awesome. But okay. I also Cher. I literally, we were talking about this downstairs. I was like giggling, writing this in my notes, just thinking about it again. She was so disoriented on that stage. So she came up to accept the Lifetime Achievement Award, and Trevor Noah, like gave it to her, and she was kind of just like, okay, like, well, can you hold on? He was like, sure, I'll hold on to it for you, because I guess she was still like presenting. She gave this speech that was like made no sense. She said she was like, you know, this is not the part that I'm good at. And I'm like, obviously.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, there was like a line she said. She was like, I have great genes, so this is probably my last Grammys. And I was saying, I was like,
I have great genes, so this is probably my last Grammys.
I think she meant to say, like, maybe I don't have great genes. I don't know. I think she was trying to make the joke that every grandma makes, where she's like, this is probably my last birthday, or whatever it was, which was kind of like, oh, okay, I guess.
You know what I wonder is if she was reading the teleprompter, because usually, I mean, the teleprompter is showing what they're supposed to be saying, and I wonder if she just couldn't see it, so she was like, improving?
Maybe. I mean, I felt like no teleprompter was being used in that part. It was quite strange.
Well, but a presenter is supposed to be reading off a teleprompter, so it's like weird that she would just be...
Well, this was before she was... this was like her accepting her like Lifetime Achievement Award.
Oh, got it.
And then she was supposed to stay on stage to present the last award of the night for Best Record.
Okay, got it.
So, but she didn't do that. So she literally goes, so I guess I'm supposed to walk off stage now. And then she, like, turns around and starts walking off into the distance until Trevor Noah, like, he's like, Cher, wait. And she's like, what? And he's like, you do have to present the nominees.
No.
And so then, like, and Chris pointed this out, so she didn't have, like, the nominee thing at first when they cut to, like, here's the nominees.
Yeah.
And then when it came back, she did. Presumably, you'd think that the winner was on that. But she was, like, reading it off. And she was like, and the winner for record of the year is... And then she, like, stopped and she was like...
Why wouldn't you know to open it?
I know. She said, sorry, they told me it was going to be on the teleprompter. I'm like...
My eyes see Oppenheimer.
Yes, and I was saying downstairs, I was like, what award show do you not open the envelope that's in your hand with the winner? Anyways.
She was very confused.
So the record of the year, the winner was Luther by Kendrick Lamar and SZA. She opens it, she goes, oh, Luther Vandross.
No, she said Grandos.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she said it wrong.
That's very funny. And, like, she was just like, oh, like, so surprised. And, like, you could tell, like, as Kendrick and, like, SZA were walking up there, they were also kind of like, okay, I guess. And then she was just, like, standing up there behind them like a lost
She
lamb.
did not know where she was. She was, like, in the middle of the winner.
It was cracking me up.
That's, like, so nightmare fueled. Like, can you imagine, like, you're just... like, fuck, I'm on the Grammy stage, and I don't know where to go. I didn't know I was supposed to present.
But the thing is, it's, like, it would be nightmare fueled for, like, a regular person. Cher was just, like... She woke up today and was like, whatever, I don't care.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm Cher.
So funny. I think sometimes, I mean, she's not that old, but I think it's kind of like... you know, with what's-his-face when My I See Oppenheimer, it's like, sometimes I just don't think we need to be wheeling these people out on stage. Like, let's just...
Yeah.
Let's not, you know.
Because I think about, you know, I struggle to say things now. Imagine me at, like, 85 presenting something. It's like, sometimes you just, like, it's okay.
Right. And also, I mean...
pre-record it maybe or something. I don't know.
I don't know. I also just think Cher didn't show up to rehearsal because she's Cher.
Yeah. I think she was just like, whatever, this is my 85th Grammy.
Yeah.
So,
but,
cool.
You know...
Yeah. So anyways, overall, I think, like, I'm not disappointed by the wins, or I think it was pretty fair all around.
Well, what did you think? I was talking to you guys about the Wildflower win.
I literally have never heard this song.
I mean, I didn't either, but so Billie Eilish won for, for the song Wildflower, which is from an album that came out in 2024.
Yeah.
But she re-released it in 2025 as a single, so then it's eligible for a Grammy. And I'm just like, that seems a little scammy.
And you know what? As soon as they were showing the nominees, Chris was like, it's going to be Billie Eilish. Yeah. It's always Billie Eilish. And you know what? I really love Billie Eilish, but what annoys me...
I do too. I just felt that was a scam.
Is when someone like Billie Eilish or, like, you know... even, like, Kendrick Lamar didn't do this, but, like, they act, like, the camera goes to them, and she was like, what?
I
like, totally surprised.
You win, like, all the time. What are you talking about?
Like, it's not the craziest thing in the world. Just, like Kendrick Lamar, who's won 1 million Grammys now, he, like, acts reasonably like, oh.
I know.
And then is, like, grateful, goes up and is, like, does his thing. Like, he's happy. He's
Billie
not, like,
has always done that, because I remember when she won, like, the first time, and... granted, I mean, whatever, or maybe it wasn't even the first time, but she always kind of has that thing of, like, she doesn't want to win, and she's always just like, and, like, I don't know, it feels very performative.
Yeah. So I just was like, okay, whatever. I was like, whatever, I don't care.
I don't care either.
It was fine. Again, I guess I should listen to the song. I'm like, what is this song?
Well, it just felt like kind of bullshit to me that she won for that. I was like, that doesn't seem right that you can, like, re-release a song as a single the following year, so then it's eligible.
And then Phineas goes up on stage with her, but he just, like, stands there silently.
You know, but in that, it's crazy that he's not recognized more, because I don't think she would be where she is without him.
No, but I also was like, why'd you go up on stage then? He wasn't even, like, kind of standing close to her. He was just, like, a shadow. Well, it was strange.
He's accepting the award.
Yeah, I guess
she's just talking.
I guess, but that brings us to our question of the week.
Okay, so we had a couple questions of the week, and if you want to answer our question of the week, follow us at Poppin In Podcast. We post our question of the week. We try to every week, and we also post our timestamps in the episode description. So if you want to skip ahead to a topic that you care about, and is more meaningful to you.
We won't know, but we'll feel it in our hearts.
As long as you're listening to the episode, that's all that matters.
As long as you like, rate, review, subscribe, and dedicate yourself to us every week.
Yeah.
That's all we care.
And give us your firstborn.
Yeah, exactly.
Please don't.
Yeah, but actually,
we don't want it.
We can't handle that responsibility.
Anyway, sorry. So we had two questions of the week this week. What's the biggest Grammy snub this year? And what's a Grammys category you would add? Okay, so let's start with snub. What was your biggest snub this year?
I don't know if I had any snubs, really. Like,
wasn't that your idea?
Probably.
It was.
Maybe
one was.
Doechii. She got nominated, but I just felt like she should have had more. But I guess she had a really great Grammys last year.
She did, but then it feels like she kind of
fell off a little bit.
A little bit, yeah. I thought Anxiety.
It got nominated, but I don't know if it won.
Did it not win? I thought it did, actually.
Maybe it won for something like in the pre-Grammys. You know, they are like, oh, people already won these Creative Arts Grammys.
Yeah. Okay, interesting. That's a good one. But, okay, so Patrick said Leon Thomas is his best new artist.
Okay.
Argue with a Wall.
Okay.
Okay.
Love that for you. I don't know who that is.
I don't either,
But I love a Leon. That's a good cat name.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and then Jared said Chromacopia.
I have to, see it spelled out
in
front of me.
But seeing it spelled out actually threw me off a little bit. Okay.
It is a great album, and I was... kind of, I'm not surprised, but I was like, I think it was up there for sure.
Yeah. Megan said The Weeknd's new album, Hurry Up Tomorrow, didn't get a single nomination.
Okay, so I'm just going to be honest. I'll say this to your face, Megan. I love you. I keep forgetting that he released an album this year. The only reason I know is because of you. Love you. But...
Well, and Chris mentioned he didn't, and I don't know this, but he didn't
submit.
So
I don't know. I'll look into that.
Interesting. Speaking of Chris, Chris said CMAT, CMAT,
CMAT.
Yeah.
Is that what it is? Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
Okay, and her album Euro Country.
Okay, I don't know what that is, but that sounds like something he listens to.
I know. I feel like we're dumb. But that's me. With music, I'm just I swear, every single thing everybody said, I was just like, what?
The thing is, I listen to music and I'm like, wow, I like that. I don't know who sings it. I don't know what the name of the song is.
I am pretty bad about that.
At bar trivia, I'll sing every word to a song. Chris is like, who is it? And I'm like, I don't know. But I'm blissfully enjoying it.
Yep.
Messy.
I know.
Is that it?
Yep.
Okay. So what's your snub?
Oh, I didn't really know what to say. I said Joe.
Oh, Joe!
DJO. He only got best album cover nomination.
I didn't know that was a category.
I didn't really either, but I feel like he
I love his
deserves
music.
more.
Yeah,
he has
he's
really
great.
good music. So that was mine. And then we also asked why does it keep... What's a Grammys category that you would add?
Okay, so here's what I would add.
Curious to hear your thoughts.
I would add a best shade category. And what I don't mean a diss track where it's obviously this is...
About
direct,
a person,
yes,
yeah.
It's you have a line in a song that's throwing shade at someone. Everyone's like, oh, I wonder who this is about. Could this be... You know what I mean? It's it's clever, it's creative, it gets the people going. Yes, it's provocative.
Yep.
That's just a line or two. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be a whole song, but little shade.
Yeah.
Because
it's a good one.
To do shade well, I mean, it's a special craft.
Yeah. It's good.
Thank you.
So I had a couple. I feel like I don't really have good answers to this. I said best background vocalist.
Okay.
Because I think they sometimes make a song what it is, and they don't get recognition for it.
Yeah. Best cowbell.
Yeah. And I also said artist of the year because you have best new artist.
Yeah.
But you don't really have an artist of the year. And I guess that's technically the same thing. But couldn't it be I don't know. Some of the categories are just weird. You mentioned earlier that
best
Lola Young won Best Pop Solo Performer. I don't know
what is that?
Well, was it performer or performance?
Performance, I think.
Oh, that's weird. That's why the Grammys just kind of confuse me a little bit.
Yeah.
It just seems like so many... there's just a lot of categories, and it feels...
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, what does this mean?
And they all seem either hyper specific or weirdly vague.
Yeah. Patrick had a good one. He said best tour. And he said not based on sales, but like performance-wise.
Yeah.
And I think that's actually a really good one. I'm curious who your answer would be, Patrick. I think we all know.
Yeah.
But
our Post Malone. Go listen to our episode with Patrick.
Yeah.
From like 2 years ago. Wow.
Jared said best contemporary rap album / best classical rap album.
Okay.
Split the category.
Yeah, I think that's a good one.
Those were actually our only answers for that one.
Okay.
Those were good.
Yeah. So
I like best perform. I like best tour.
Yeah,
that's
that is
interesting.
Good.
I feel like that should get recognized somewhere.
Yeah. I mean, it would have been Taylor.
I would have done like more like. But like I was thinking of like best like music supervisor for like soundtracks, but they kind of already have that. The music supervisor does get recognized for best like soundtrack. So
yeah, that's true.
Anyway, but those are our questions of the week. Thank you for answering.
Yeah. But to get into so another musician who is constantly in the news.
Interesting.
So I know you said earlier you hadn't heard about this. This came across my feed.
I had though once I had heard about it. I don't know a lot of the details.
So Ye, the artist formerly known as Kanye West, took out a full-page ad in the Wall Street Journal on January 26th, basically apologizing to like all the crazy stuff he's done, and it's literally addressed to those I've hurt. So I just kind of want to give a little bit of background if you don't know like what Kanye's been up to recently. So he always has been kind of a controversial person for the, ever since the 2008 VMAs or whatever. Mm-hmm. But it's gotten like to the point of it being bad. So just a little timeline here. In 2018, Kanye controversially said that he believed slavery was a choice. Mm-hmm. That really started his like, I think, real downfall politically.
I still think about that TMZ video where he's like in the studio just absolutely just yelling nonsense, and somebody from TMZ like confronts him, and he like kind of backs down a little bit.
Really?
Yeah, because he sounded like a fool. Like he was just a fool.
Yeah,
it was idiotic.
He always sounds like a fool.
Yeah.
So I like some of this was on my periphery, but when I was looking into it more, I was like, oh, I forgot the specifics. So in 2022, he released a slew of anti-Semitic statements. He praised Adolf Hitler on a podcast. He got suspended from Twitter for using a swastika. Yeah. Then in 2025, he released a song called Heil Hitler, and he sold T-shirts with swastikas on them. Mm-hmm. And so, not a great look, right? So I'm just going to, like, read to you part of his thing. And this is not his first time apologizing.
Right. Is he, and I mean this seriously, is he, like, back on meds or something? Like, why is he suddenly clear?
So what he explains is, he says, basically, he starts out by talking about how 25 years ago he was in a car accident that broke his jaw and caused an injury to his right frontal lobe of his brain. Mm-hmm. And he says at the time, the focus was on the visible damage, the fracture, the swelling, whatever, but the deeper injury, the one inside my skull, went unnoticed. And so he basically is explaining that, because previously, so he talks about being bipolar a lot in his music, but then a couple years ago, he like texted Elon Musk and was like, I'm not bipolar. I actually like, I think he said he had autism is what he said. But now he is saying, I think he is both saying like, I do have bipolar disorder. That's right. And he is claiming that he has like a neurological disability because the tests at the time of his accident were limited, and saying that he had a frontal lobe injury that was never like addressed. Yeah. So he said he was ultimately diagnosed with the injury in 2023, and he believes that this injury contributed to his struggle with bipolar 1 disorder. Which he was diagnosed with in 2016, but then basically, again, he kind of went back and forth and was like, I don't have bipolar disorder anymore. But so then he explains more about his bipolar disorder. He says, bipolar disorder comes with its own defense system, denial. When you're manic, you don't think you're sick. You think everyone else is overreacting. You feel like you're seeing the world more clearly than ever, when in reality, you're losing your grip entirely. It makes you blind, but convinced you have insight. You feel powerful, certain, and unstoppable. And he says he, like, throughout it, because of the trauma of the accident, compounded with the bipolar disorder. He said he lost touch with reality. Things got worse the longer I ignored the problem. I said and did things I deeply regret. Some of the people I love the most, I treated the worst. You endured fear, confusion, humiliation, and the exhaustion of trying to love someone who was at times unrecognizable. Looking back, I became detached from my true self. So I think, like, basically he's trying to explain, like, sometimes I think there's this thing, and I'm not a doctor, so correct me if I'm wrong, with bipolar disorder where you can almost, like, have these blackout periods.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I don't know, a blackout period long enough for you to design and market a whole swastika shirt campaign?
Yeah.
I don't know about that. And it's like, I think his apology is sincere. It just feels weird to take out a full-page ad in the Wall Street Journal to do so. Who's that for?
I think he's got to take some just time. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone really wants to hear an apology. Like, I just think
Yeah.
I just think it goes deeper than that, than just a,
Yeah.
like, I don't know.
And he's given an apology before.
Right.
And then continued with, like, swastikas and stuff.
It almost feels like him giving that reasoning and giving that, like, context just means that he's like, might do it again. Like,
Yeah.
might happen again.
I think so, because I do think, I was literally about to be like, it seems like there's two of him, like, bipolar.
Yeah.
But I do think, like, he has this side that's, like, rational and reasonable.
Totally, yeah.
Reasonable, but I think he just isn't able to control it, but I think it's also partially, like, he's not taking the steps to control it.
No.
Like, he literally raps about, like, when he's, like, doesn't take his medication.
Yeah.
And like, it's a debilitating condition to deal with. I don't think it necessarily excuses racism. And, like, promotion of, like, Nazi values.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's going to be a comeback.
Yeah.
And he said, okay, so he goes on to say, in his fractured state, he gravitated toward the most destructive symbol I could find, the swastika, and even sold t-shirts bearing it. Excuse me. And he said that there's disconnected moments he couldn't recall. He said, I regret and am deeply mortified by my actions in that state and am committed to the accountability, treatment, and meaningful change. It does not excuse what I did, though. I am not a Nazi or an anti-Semite. I love Jewish people.
Okay.
Sure.
But you're right. Like, I mean, you have to, it's a lot of effort to release t-shirts.
Yeah, to really, like, what?
You really did all that
to make a whole song called Heil Hitler.
And then it's like he's got all this, like, this team of, like, yes men behind him.
Yeah.
So then you have to question them. Like, they're not all bipolar. So
yeah.
So you're still surrounding yourself with these, like, whoever these people are.
Imagine being Kanye West's PR team. Like, I just can't, be like, well, how are we going to spin this one?
You take out a full-page ad in the Wall Street Journal.
It actually is crazy, considering all that he has done.
Yeah.
That he still has, like, some sort of weird, like, influence and power. And like, people aren't going to his going to his, like, I mean, I don't know if he's having concerts, but it's like, I feel like he hasn't been, like, canceled traditionally in the same way that we do everyone else who...
Right.
I mean, like, he's doing some pretty awful things. And then he also said, to the black community, which held me down through all the highs and lows and the darkest times, the black community is unquestionably the foundation of who I am. I am so sorry to have let you down. I love us.
Okay.
Like, okay, I don't, like, yeah, you really did. You let down a lot of communities, a lot of, like, I just...
Thing is, the Wall Street Journal wouldn't say no to him taking out an ad because they're probably just like, we got to see this. Like,
yeah. Oh, I mean,
this.
It's probably the most, like, they got it probably a huge amount of reads.
I don't know.
I think the sentiment is good. I don't know if it's genuine.
I don't know. I think he'll be back on something like in a couple months.
Yeah.
I hate to say that. I mean, I hope he takes care of himself and he can get the help he needs and stays on medication and, you know, does what he needs to do. But for now, I'm just kind of like, I don't need to hear from, like, I don't know if anyone needs to hear an apology from you. Like, it's just kind of like, just.
And I also just think about, like, his kids, too, where it's like, okay, now they're getting a little bit older. And, you know, whatever, you have to reckon with, like, the sins of the father sometimes. And it's like, thank God, like, kind of that they have the Kardashian side for them to have like a successful life, because otherwise it'd be like, you know, imagine like if they wanted to do something in music or film or whatever, and it was just Kanye and like, I don't know, a random person was their mom, they'd kind of be like, oh, like the Hitler guy?
Yeah.
Like what didn't he call himself a black skinhead? Like, you know, and so I'm like, thank God, kind of, even though like the Kardashians are questionable as well, at least they have like some sort of like, I don't know, something to fall back on.
Well, they're better than Nazis.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll see. I don't know.
And it reminds me a little bit of the Charlie Sheen thing, where sometimes it's like you see this person who's like really struggling, and he said in his documentary, he's like, someone should have pulled me out of the limelight. Like, someone needs to be pulling Kanye and just being like, you need to basically be a hermit for like 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Get yourself right, do what you need to do, and then like come back, hopefully without any anti-Semitism.
Yeah.
And, you know.
We'll hear from your documentary in 10 years or so, but...
When does that iPhone documentary about him come out?
Well, I think it was released maybe at, like, festivals or something. I don't know if it'll ever come out, like, theatrically.
Yeah.
It was crazy. If you see the footage from that, I know we talked about it before, but it's like, you truly are seeing someone in the... in the deepest pit of whatever this is, bipolar disorder and whatever, you know, he's going through. Like, it's upsetting, like, honestly. And it's like, just to be married to him, I just can't imagine.
Yeah. And it's really tough, because I think, like, again, I'm not a doctor, but I do think he is like the most extreme but also like classically evident case of like bipolar disorder, like when you see him. And like, I think you can see that even like when, I don't know, Jeanette McCurdy's mom, I think like maybe suffered, and you can just like, it's you almost do feel a little bit of sympathy, because you can tell like that they can't help it sometimes, you know, but they can like take not the anti-Semitism, but you know what I mean. But
take
just
your
like
medication. The thing is, like, there's no way around it. If you have bipolar disorder, you have to be on medication, right? And so
it's like not one of the like worst mental diseases, but it's just like I think it has to be so tough to live with. Yeah. But that also, again, I want to say that I am not excusing any of his actions. I just am thinking about bipolar disorder as a whole. Yeah. But anyways, so that's Kanye. I don't know. I guess we'll see what happens. I guess subscribe to the Wall Street Journal if you want to know. I mean, like, why the Wall Street Journal?
I don't know. Is that like...
Of all the publications, it seems kind of random.
Yeah, that is. Maybe it's the only one that would take him.
Maybe, yeah. I could see that. So, stay tuned, I guess.
So, have you heard about the Odessa A'Zion controversy?
So, I've heard about it from you last week, a little bit.
Did I talk about it to you last week?
Yeah, you were saying how, like, you follow, or you saw, like, her Stan account was, like...
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, well, that's... Okay, so Odessa, for those who don't know, she was in the show I Love L.A., Rachel Sennett's show.
Marty
Supreme last year. She's a very good actress. I do really like her. So she was supposed to star in a movie with Drew Starkey and Kaylee Spaney called Deep Cuts, which is based on a book by Holly Brickley. But her casting caused a bit of a controversy. Because the role that she was supposed to play is described as half Jewish and half Mexican. Mm-hmm. Odessa is not half Mexican, so people were pretty upset about this casting announcement. And, you know, a lot of people felt that it should be portrayed by a Latina actor, and that it was kind of another case of, you know, whitewashing. Mm-hmm. And it was to the point, like I told you last week, it was to the point where even her Stan account on Twitter was just like, they commented and they like deactivated their account. They were like, we're taking a step back. Yeah. Like, we don't agree with this. And, you know, so she was even losing her Stan account. Yeah. And so it was a whole thing. And then on January 28th, Odessa announced that she was exiting the movie on her Instagram story. And I don't know if you saw these, but it was kind of interesting. So she said she originally auditioned. So I was like, girl, you got to get yourself a PR team. Yeah. I don't know if she just doesn't.
You know what? I was thinking that in my head, but then I was like, I think I'm thinking that because you said that to me when you texted it to me.
I don't remember texting this to you. I have zero memory of this.
That's crazy.
Okay.
Just hearing you go, girl, you gotta get yourself a PR team.
That's crazy. I have no memory of saying that to you.
Do you read text messages from me in my voice? Because I read them from you in your voice.
I do.
Aw.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Anyways.
What do I sound like?
Like this.
Okay.
Like, whenever you do an impression, I never hear, like, that original sound. I always, for the rest of my life, will hear you doing the impression of the sound.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
So I hear you, like, go, like, I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah.
Like, you say.
I know where your inflections are in your text messages. Yes. Where your accent marks go.
So, that being said.
Yeah.
I'm going to repeat what I said to you, but girl, you got to get yourself a better PR team.
Yeah.
Because this is so she posted on, it just kind of made me laugh, but she posted that she was exiting the movie on her Instagram story, and she said that she originally auditioned for a different role, but was offered this other character instead before, like, knowing the full story. And so she posted, guys, ! I am with all of you and I am not doing this movie. Fuck that, I'm out. I'm so sorry that this happened. It is so important for me to let you in on how it all went down. And then she says, I've never seen, like again, this is where I'm just like, you maybe shouldn't be saying this. But she said, I went in for Percy. I'm guessing that's that might be Kaylee Spaney's role. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But she goes, and she said, but was offered Zoe instead and instantly said, yes, I'm so pissed, y'all. I hadn't read the book and should have paid more attention to all aspects of Zoe before accepting. And now that I know what I know, fuck that, I'm out. And it's just so interesting because it's like, okay, first of all, it made me laugh because she admitted to not reading the book.
Yeah.
And not knowing the source material.
Yeah.
Which it's like, okay, I'm sure a lot of actors haven't read a book before being in the movie.
Yeah.
And that's fine, but, like, it's just, I've never seen someone admit that. Like, It just seems a little like, the whole thing just read very unprofessional. Like, just, surely there was a better way of announcing that, even just, like, through her team announce
it.
I
feel like most actors would read the book if you got cast in it.
Right, at some point. And so it felt
or, like, know about it.
It was just funny that she was like, I'm so pissed. It's like, okay, well, you also should do your research.
Yeah.
And it was just funny the way that she said that, and just for her to start it off with guys ! Like as if she's like texting a friend.
I actually can hear her saying that too.
I can too, guys. And I think she's just like, she's young, like, I don't know, I guess, but I'm just like, it just felt a little juvenile and like unprofessional.
It also does feel like one of those things, like, if people hadn't said it, she would have just kept doing it.
Totally. And so then she said, she said, still haven't read the book, but the story in the script is focused on Percy and Joe. So, of course, on my initial read, that was my main focus as well. I was happy to be involved as a different role, but I just cannot do it knowing more about Zoe now. And again, I'm just like, you got to get yourself a better publicist.
Yeah.
Who would, I mean, you
gotta
just
read
maybe
the book.
should have announced that through your team and not on your Instagram story. And just, again, it felt like she was like texting her friends.
Yeah. Also, like,
I don't know.
I would have read the book before I made that post, too.
Totally.
Like, I would have been like, let me get all the source material before I make a public apology about anything.
It was really wild to me. Like, that she just posted, like, yeah, to admit, like, I didn't read the script. I'm blaming it on everyone else, kind of. I don't know. I mean, she was apologetic, but still, it just was like, And so all of that, like, just to kind of pile on, a day later, over 100 Latino people in the film industry signed an open letter to Hollywood demanding accountability, intentionality, and equity in casting and storytelling. And so it's just like all based on this incident.
Wow. The person who gets that role is gonna, I
know, it's like, and they did acknowledge and commend Odessa for dropping out of the project. So they weren't just like shitting on her, but it's just wild that this all started with that.
Yeah.
And again, she's kind of new to the industry, so I just am wondering how she, like, I don't know, it's just kind of wild. But so actors like Ava Longoria, John Leguizamo, Melissa Barrera, they all signed it. And it was interesting because it did actually, in turn caused a bit of discourse because like a lot of people were pointing out that many of those actors took roles that were originally meant to be Afro-Latino roles. So it's just kind of interesting. Like Melissa Barrera, for example, she was in the Heights movie adaptation. And that alone was I remember when that came out, that was a big controversy because, there was a lack of dark-skinned Afro-Latino representation in that movie. where there should have been. And so it's just sort of an interesting thing. I don't know.
You know what it reminds me of? Do you remember that, like, episode of Broad City where Alana's wearing the big Latina hoop earrings that say Latina, and her roommate, I forget his name, he has to be like, I have to tell you, like, it's really offensive when you wear those. And she's like, what? Like, I'm a fiery Latina queen. And he's like, you're not. He's like, you're Jewish. And it just, like, that is really, like, what it boils down to. 2016 or whatever?
Yeah.
They knew. Those girls were on it.
It's just wild. It's so interesting. From every part of it is just interesting. Her Instagram stories.
She seems like she could be a messy, like, just poster.
Yes.
Do you think sometimes, I really think, like, celebrities, if I were a celebrity, I'd have a private Instagram where it's, like, me and my 10 friends.
I would get off social media so quickly.
And then I would hire, like,
not because I'm trying to hide anything,
yeah.
but just because I just wouldn't...
I would do, like Beyonce does. Like, she has her Instagram, and it's, like, obviously she doesn't run this.
Right. Oh,
like,
I actually think a lot of celebrities are like that. I think Odessa maybe runs her own Instagram.
Yeah, well, she's newly famous, so maybe she's just not at that point
But even
yet.
people like Paul Mescal, I used to have a Twitter account. He used to tweet whatever came to his mind. But as you become more famous, you can't really do that anymore.
Yeah.
Pedro Pascal, for example, had to get off Twitter.
Yeah.
I think he runs his own Instagram maybe, but still, like
I think a lot of them have, like, private, like, little burner accounts or whatever.
And I think, like, Odessa and same with, like, Rachel Sennett, I think, like, they are similar. Like, they're very, like, Gen Z, and I think, like, and I'm not trying to generalize, but I think, like I could see them being like, well, I want to interact with my fans.
Right.
And that's fine. But, well, yeah, you shouldn't. But also, I mean, maybe in some cases it's fine, but I think in this situation, you should have gone through your team. That's like a team thing. It's a sensitive subject. Like, I don't know. Maybe that's why she wanted to say it, but it just came off as so unprofessional. Yeah. To, like, blame for her to be like, I'm so pissed. It's like, well, what are you pissed about? Yeah. You didn't do your research either.
Yeah. Like, this is also you.
Right.
So, interesting.
So I thought that was interesting.
Well, I hope they cast an actress appropriate for the role.
Exactly.
As they should for all roles.
Yes.
Yeah. But I just want to, I'm not going to, like, go into this too in depth, but His and Hers on Netflix.
I've heard so many people talk about this show.
Like, good or bad?
Just a lot of talk. Most people, I think, good.
You said you read the plot, right?
I did.
Okay, I'm not going to spoil it. I'm going to talk about it, but you're so funny with that.
Plot.
Yeah. I love when you say that. You're like, yeah.
It's really crazy.
Twists and turns.
I didn't expect that.
You're reading the Wikipedia, you're like, wow.
Yeah.
So it's based on a novel originally, and I think it's interesting. I didn't know this at first. So the show takes place in Georgia. But the novel originally takes place in the UK, which is so interesting.
Why didn't they go that route?
I don't know. I'm so curious. But it stars
Tessa Thompson.
Yeah, and
John Bernthal.
Yeah, wow, thank you. And they I will say John Bernthal's accent.
It's not Berenstein Bear, it's just Bernthal.
I always thought
you and your Berenstein Bear.
His accent was okay.
He did a southern accent?
Sometimes it's kind of cringy to me to watch actors try to do, like, a thick southern accent because it feels so performative.
So you said it takes place in Georgia?
Yeah.
So it's funny because when he was in The Walking Dead, that also took place in Georgia, and he's, like, known, like, whenever people, you probably see it a lot, but whenever people are talking about the Odyssey and he's in the Odyssey, everyone always, like, quotes, like, he's like, let me tell you something. Like, and I actually thought he did a pretty good southern accent in that show, but maybe not in this.
It's not bad. It's just sometimes, like, if you know that they're not from the South, you're, like, looking for it.
Yeah, that's
fair.
But
But I think, like, it's kind of steamy. But I love the music in it is really what, like, I think set this show apart. Like, they have these beautiful, it almost feels like a Southern Gothic type of thing a little bit. And I love, because you get all these shows where it's, like, set in New England with, like, super wealthy whatever. And it's like, this is a police officer and a journalist. They come from middle of nowhere, Georgia. And, like, there are wealthy people involved, sort of, but it, like, feels more, like, realistic.
Yeah.
And you can also feel, like, the atmosphere is really well done. Like, tune. Like, they have really good, like, actual, like, they have, like, these symphonic, like, string pieces playing.
Yeah.
But then they also have, like, just great, like, I think, like, Georgia music.
Yeah.
And I think that really, like, heightened the quality. Because there's so many of these, like, murder mysteries based on books that are coming out. I'm honestly getting a little tired of it.
Yeah, totally.
So when I was, like, honestly not even gonna watch this one. But actually what made me watch it was your mom at the movie. She was like, I'm really excited to see that. And I was like, maybe I should check it out.
Aww.
So I did. And I was like, you know what? It wasn't like, it's not going to be something that it's like, oh, I'm thinking about it forever and ever. But it was better than I would say a lot of the ones I've seen recently. I think the plot twist is really interesting. I think they deal with, like, some interesting trauma in it. But I think, like, there's some things, sometimes, again, when you watch something that, like, you can sometimes tell before you even know that it was based on a book, because there's, like, things that are, like, alluded to that you're kind of like, wait, what?
Yeah.
That you're like, I'm sure that was, like, expanded upon in the book, but, like, for some reason doesn't make sense here. And I think, also, Tessa Thompson, stunning.
Yeah, she's gorgeous.
She wears these amazing outfits. She's a news anchor. But there are certain things that she does that I'm like, I don't think you could do that as a news anchor. Like, just, like, for, like, journalistic integrity. I'm like, I don't know about that, but okay. And the way they set it up is interesting. Like, they are married. They had a child who passed away, and she kind of, like, disappeared for a year. And in the first scene, she's getting, like, a filling, and I don't know why. I was like, this will come back into play. Like, she shows up to her first day of work, her face is swollen. People are like, what's wrong? And she's like, nothing, was at the dentist. I was like, why did we start out here? I don't know what that was about. But I think, like, it just is really, like, interestingly done. There's a girls' school. There's also, I will say, trigger warning. There are, like, some instances of sexual assault. But I think, like, overall, Tessa Thompson, I really want to watch Hedda, because people kept saying that should get nominated. But I really like her as an actress. John Bernthal, he does a really good job as well, but I think, again, there's some dynamics between, like, his family, like, his sister and stuff, that I'm like, this must have been expanded on in the novel that seemed kind of strange to me. And there's also certain things that he does, like, to hide his, like, this is a spoiler, but it happens, like, at the end of the first episode. He was with the woman who died, like, the night that she died, and slept with her, and so he's kind of, like, trying to hide that he was with her. And there's certain things that he does that I'm like, this would be a red flag, like, to anyone. Like, he, like, he's like, oh, can I go and look for my wedding ring in the morgue or whatever? And the guy's like, yeah, I guess. And it's just like, they wouldn't do that. Like, they definitely would be like, I have to have eyes on you.
Yeah.
But
I find that, like, a lot of, sometimes those shows are frustrating like that, because it's like, you're like, okay, whoever wrote this script has never had this job, or has never, like, it's especially with, like, you know, like, law enforcement or journalism, where you're just like, that's not how that works.
Right, exactly. And I would love to see, and I'm curious how people do this, but I am so tired of the penultimate episode of a mystery being a flashback episode.
Okay, if there's one thing I hate in life, it is a flashback episode.
Yes. But I'm like, I guess you need that for a lot of mysteries, because it's like, oh, like, we're going to reveal things to you. But I would be curious. This is a challenge to you script writers out there who I know are listening for sure. I want you to write me a mystery, and I get no flashbacks.
Yeah.
I don't need especially not a whole episode of it. I want it to be, we're all set in the present day. Obviously, you got to refer to the past, solving a crime that's already happened, but you don't need to, I don't need to see the flashbacks.
I know that this isn't really the same, because this wasn't, like, a mystery show, but Succession always really impressed me that they never once showed a flashback.
Right.
But you get all the things you need to know about these characters from conversation.
Right.
From content, like, from character driven. Like you don't need flashbacks.
Right. I remember my least favorite flashback is Gilmore Girls. They do a flashback episode that, like, doesn't make any sense. It doesn't do anything to the plot, but people love it because they're just like, oh, it's like our favorite character's young. And I'm like, what about the story we're telling?
I know.
What about the integrity of the craft?
There is truly nothing that pisses me off more. It's like one thing if it's a streaming show and you can just watch it all at once, but when you're, like, waiting for the next episode of a show, and it's like an isolated episode of a character you don't care about, or a flashback episode.
Yes.
There is nothing that boils my blood more than when you've waited all week for a new episode of your favorite little show and you're so excited and it's a damn flashback episode.
And it's always like a little bit hazy. It's always like something you're like, wait, what's going on?
I'll never forget. I was already having a really bad night and I came home to watch a new episode of Severance. This doesn't count because it wasn't really a flashback, but it was just like an isolated episode about what's her face,
Oh, the wife.
No, that one I loved, actually.
Okay, I was about to say, I was like, well,
that one's
a good one. Yeah, that's a good one.
No, Patricia Arquette's character.
Oh, Miss Cobell.
Cobell.
Yeah.
It was just like an episode just about her.
And it was like the shortest episode, too. It was like 40 minutes or something.
Good, but you're so pissed because you've waited all week. It's Severance, so you've waited all 3 years.
Right.
You just want a good episode.
Yeah.
And it's a isolated episode about Miss Cobell. Like,
if you're going to do a flashback, you could have other scenes. You can work it in. You know what I mean?
Totally. I think that's a good challenge, though.
Yeah.
Also, because
Rise to the challenge, script writers.
Yeah.
Sorry, continue.
But because you asked, I did look it up. But apparently the scene where she loses a filling and eventually the tooth itself serves as a physical manifestation of her long repressed trauma, stress, and the unraveling of her life. So apparently it persists from the premiere episode and represents the painful hidden secrets and trauma from her past.
What? That is the worst analogy. For like that doesn't like they don't get doesn't
I can kind of see that,
but it doesn't get brought up again. You know what I mean?
They said it. They are saying it does. So maybe
I don't remember it getting brought up again. But
during a brutal confrontation, the already damaged tooth finally comes out. Sorry, spoiler.
Oh yes, it's like the final confrontation. So okay, they mention it in the first episode for 30 seconds, and then I guess when she's getting beaten or whatever. Her tooth comes out, and I'm supposed to be like, oh, right.
Yeah.
Remember when we saw her in a dentist chair 7 episodes?
I'm not saying it's a good metaphor. It's not well done, but I can see it being, it's often, like, physical.
And I'm kind of hating on it right now. I don't know why I did enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's definitely one of my, like, again, of the novel to screen, mystery, murder, dangerous liaison type things recently. Yeah. It was a good one.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
I think it was one of those things, like, where I agree. It's how I've been feeling a lot lately, where I'm just kind of sick of all these, like, based on book, like, adaptations of mystery. Like, so that's why I read the plot, to be honest, because I was like, even though I really like the 2 main actors in it, I was like, should I spend my time watching this?
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, reading the plot, it's a crazy plot twist. It sounds like it was an interesting storyline, but I think I'm good.
Like, it's always a crazy plot twist. Here's another challenge. I want it to be a straightforward. Like, you think a crazy plot twist is going to come, but you know what would be even crazier? Straightforward. Because nobody's doing that. Nobody's pulling that stop.
So, like, not a twist.
Not a twist, but you think it's going to come, and it doesn't.
Yeah, those are good.
And I think it's like, oh, well, this makes logical sense with the rest of the story.
Yeah.
I think that's fine. Just give me something. We don't need the razzle-dazzle all the time, you know?
I agree.
If a story is told well enough, the ending will land.
I love when shows end vaguely, but not, but it's like, see, I do. I think it's really, I don't think things have to be patched up because it's not how life is.
See, but that's not how life is. I need that in my viewing.
That's fair.
I have so much anxiety. I'm like, I need to know what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, go watch His and Hers. Or don't, I don't care. But,
Or be like me and read the plot.
Yeah. Don't read the plots to things first.
I know. We're never going to get a sponsorship from Netflix.
Yeah. They're going to be like, maybe Wikipedia, though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's true. I think I did read it on Wikipedia.
Yeah.
Well, and some sad news.
Yeah. This was a shock.
This really, really upset me. Great, like, a lot.
Yeah.
I was very upset. But Catherine O'Hara, beloved, in my opinion, one of the greatest female comedians.
Yeah.
Just comedians in general. But when I think of, like, female comedians, I've honestly always said Catherine O'Hara is, like, the best.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But she tragically died this weekend on Friday, January 30th. You were actually the one who first, announced it to me.
I actually...
Like, Paul Revere.
This is, like... But literally, I checked, and I think I texted you guys 10 minutes after they announced it.
Yeah. I was watching Blue Moon. I was at my parents' house. I was watching a movie with them, and I literally paused it and said, I'm sorry, but Catherine O'Hara died.
And she was 72?
She was 71.
71?
And I mean, there hasn't been a lot of details around her death yet, just that she was having difficulty breathing and was taken to the hospital.
Oh my gosh.
I'm not sure if she was sick.
She was still working, you know, like she was still in stuff.
They were actually, I don't know if they were about to or if they were in the middle of filming season 2 of The Studio, which I had totally forgotten. Yeah, she was supposed to do, like, next week they have some, like, press thing. I mean, that's not
crazy.
why it's sad, but it's just, like, it just shows you she was still, like, working, obviously. I mean, she's only 71, but...
Yeah.
I would rather, instead of kind of speculating, just, like, I just kind of wanted to take the time to, you know, like, really celebrate her work and just who she was. And, but so it's interesting because she got her start on SCTV, which is, like, the Canadian version of SNL. And she was in a lot of, like, Christopher Guest mockumentaries, which is, like, what I really know her from. And she worked really closely with Eugene Levy, obviously. But the thing I loved about her so much is just that she was just, like, not afraid to go there as an actress. Like, her scream was so... Yeah. She had the best, like, scream. It was so guttural and so funny. Like, just someone's scream alone being so funny is, like, truly talented. Yeah. And she just always did... She had, like, the deepest voice I've ever heard a female have sometimes. Like, she could just do this good really at, like, crazy... voice acting, yeah, she just was so... She was, like, not afraid to just look... ridiculous and just really go there. I don't know.
She also seemed like a comfortable person to be around.
Yes,
like she
lovely.
Had been famous for so long, but like you see her in interviews and she's just like kind of like chatting.
Yeah.
I also loved like she really embraced like aging naturally too, and she like was looking beautiful, you know? Like she really just embraced who she was, and I think like that showed in her work and kind of like how she made people around her feel.
She seemed really, like, really nice. Mm-hmm. And one thing I loved is that she's been with, this is very sad, she has 2 sons. One is, like, it was, like, literally, like, they're around our age. And that made me really sad. But her husband, she met on the set of Beetlejuice. He was,
really?
Yeah, and they've been together ever since. Which I was like, wow. But, I don't know. I kind of want to go, like, some of my favorite roles are, obviously... like Home Alone as Kevin's mom. Beetlejuice, obviously. She was Delia. I loved her in Best in Show. I don't know if you've ever seen that movie. No. It is like some of the best like acting. Like I love that movie so much. Yeah. And she and Eugene Levy are a married couple in that. She was Sally in The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
And obviously Moira Rose in Schitt's Creek.
Yeah. Which is, like, I think her most iconic recent role. But I did enjoy her in The Last of Us. She had a small role, but I think, like, it was a very serious role, and I think she played it very well.
You know, I think I just so didn't like the second season that I kind of... I honestly forgot she was in it until Pedro Pascal posted about her.
Yeah. And then I forgot she was in The Studio, but she's, like, integral to The Studio. Integral?
But yeah, what were some of your favorite roles?
I think you listed most of them. I mean, I really know her from like the big stuff. Like, I mean, like I think in The Studio, like it's gonna be interesting how they like are gonna do the next season without her.
Well, that's why I'm not sure. I'm not totally sure if they've already started or if they were about to start, and that always complicates things. And it's just obviously sad in general, and I don't know. I'm trying to think of a way to say this, but not a lot of the time celebrity deaths, you know, there's some that like really just affect me. And I'm like, that was definitely one where I was just like, no.
I think it depends. Like when Diane Keaton died, and I was like really distraught. Yeah. And, you know, because it's like, well, her work like affected me a lot, you know? Yeah. Or I remember when Robin Williams died, that was that really got me. So, continuing kind of on the topic of grief a little bit, we saw Hamnet.
We did.
Which, this is not a spoiler. If you go into this movie, you need to know
what's going to happen, what's going on.
A child will die. Yeah. Sorry. That was so aggressive. But I feel like I was like reading this thing from someone where they were like, I didn't know what this was about, and this was devastating.
God,
And I was like, yeah, you should know that. Like, that's a big thing. And I'm so glad, if you listen regularly, you know, like we've been shaking our little fists over it not coming to the Williamsburg Theater, and it finally came. So thank you to Marcus Theaters.
Yes.
Shout out, real one.
Yeah.
They heard our prayers and answered them. And we went to go see it with, shout out to your parents. and Chris. And I thought it was great.
It was great. It was obviously very sad. I expected it, though. I didn't cry once.
Yeah.
I'm a very strong girl.
What did you say? It was like right before the movie started, you were like...
I'm going to hold it there. I was like...
You said something. What did you say?
What did I say? It was funny.
Yeah, you were like, I will do anything in this world to not cry during this movie or whatever. I was like, well, it is about a child dying, so it's okay to do.
I didn't shed a tear. I did get choked up. I came close.
My eyes definitely got watery, but I also like was purposely during certain scenes like looking off the screen because
I know, me too. And I also, when I know that it's a movie purposefully going to make you cry, I'm like, okay, that makes me want to cry less.
Yeah. So if you don't know, it's based on the book by Maggie O'Farrell of the same name, Hamnet, and it basically covers the story of Agnes Hathaway, more commonly known as Anne Hathaway, Shakespeare's wife, and Shakespeare, and their life together, living kind of like acclimating. It is about, there's a lot before their child passes away, but also about dealing with the grief of losing a child during the time of the plague. And it's interesting. So one thing that I thought was interesting is, like, in the novel, Shakespeare actually isn't in it a lot. Like, he kind of comes and goes. And so I think I said to you beforehand, I was like, I'm curious, like, they have Paul Mescal, like, they've got to have him in it. And I was like, they probably put him in more because people are going to a movie about Shakespeare and expecting to see him.
Yes.
And also, I thought it was interesting, in the book, they never refer to him as, like, Will or Shakespeare or whatever. They always call him, like, the tutor or the poet or whatever. And rightly so, Maggie O'Farrell was just like, I don't know, it kind of just felt really assuming to just be like writing like, and then William Shakespeare went downstairs.
But then I'm curious, how in the book do they make it, how do they infer that it's, or how do they make it clear that it's Shakespeare?
I think because like if you picked up the book, you know what it's about.
Okay.
Like the first like chapter or so, it took me a second to kind of be like, oh, that's Shakespeare. But like you kind of, if you know, like,
did you start quoting Shakespeare? And then you're like, oh, that's Shakespeare.
Well, I knew that Agnes was supposed to be Shakespeare's wife. So then once they started getting together, I was like, oh, okay, right, he's like Shakespeare.
Yeah.
And I thought, like, overall, there were some really, like, I was curious to see also how they translated the book into the movie, because in the book there's a lot of, like, almost magical realism, mysticism with Agnes, because she's almost like a wood witch a little bit. Or, what did I say to you? Someone was like, she was born to a wood witch on a full moon or something, and I said, my dream.
Yeah.
But which I think is interesting. And I think, like, when I read the book, this is going to sound really insensitive, I enjoyed it, but also I was like, I don't have any children, so I was like, there was a certain thing where I was like, I don't know if I can relate to this, but also if I did have children, I don't know if
it'd be pretty hard to read that.
Yeah, so I was kind of like, I wonder who this is for. But Maggie O'Farrell basically, like, she said she had the inspiration because she realized that she was like reading Shakespeare's work, and a lot of it took place during the plague, and like the plague never gets mentioned. But I think it's almost like one of those things how like when COVID was happening and we were like
let's not mention.
Yeah, like we're good on that. And so he had a son named Hamnet. Hamnet and Hamlet are kind of like interchangeable, like John and Jonathan type of things, like,
which is confusing to me. How is an M and an L the same?
If you've ever seen writing from that time, a lot of the like, it's like how Anne and Agnes, and also like if you are saying these things with like a thick like 15th century or whatever it is British accent, it's like if you look at the writing, a lot of that stuff like kind of looks very similar.
Because they explained it in the beginning and like a little title card thing, and even then I was just like, what?
Yeah, and it's also whatever. Like the records too, or like so. But it's interesting because I think like some Shakespeare scholars have gotten frustrated because basically in it, it's saying that, you know, Shakespeare had the inspiration to write Hamlet based on his son Hamnet's death to like get through the grief. However, there are some instances, records showing that works of Hamlet were in production prior to the death of his son. But we don't know why his son actually died. It's not, like, written, like...
So they just have to assume.
Yeah.
But...
They didn't write, like, anything... Like, again, the records, you know? It's just, like, pieces of paper that are, like, maybe covered in water.
Yeah.
So I think that that's interesting. I just, like, was, like... But I think, like, it was just interesting how she came up with it. She was just, like... I just thought, like... He never talked about the plague, and his son died, and we don't know how.
So let me write a fictionalized retelling of how Shakespeare wrote Hamlet.
So I think she literally said in the back of the book, she was like, so these are my musings on that.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, okay.
And I was interested after we saw it, I was asking you how, because there are certain things that I do think, you mentioned that, because the one thing about the movie is it's very quiet. It gives you, like, room to breathe. Like,
we couldn't eat our snacks.
We could not eat our snacks because it's so awkward to...
My bunch of crunch was uncrunched.
Yeah. You also taught me during that movie, this was shocking, how to open how you're meant to open movie theater candy.
A little perforated tab.
Chat, let me know if, because, okay, you open it by the side. There's a tab. I had no idea.
Yeah, it's hard to see. I always
and
have
I'm
to
not the
hold
only one, because I showed it to Matthew this weekend, and he was like, I didn't know that.
I will say it's not that. It needs to be a bigger hole. That's
because you kept offering it to me, which was very kind of you. Very nice. However, it was really hard to, like, get a good amount.
Which is also why I had to stop. I was like, I can't be, she's crying over her dead child, and it's just like me shaking my bunch of crunch box. Like, I can't do that. So I just didn't, I ate it later.
2 hot dogs.
Yeah, God.
Anyway, but I was, with that being said, like, the movie is like that, so I was curious how the book was, and you mentioned the book is also quiet somehow.
Yeah, I was like, it's hard to explain, but there's something, like, kind of slow and quiet about the book as well that I think they really, like, transcribed well into the movie. And I think, so there were certain scenes that I was interested in seeing how they were depicted, and the first one was the first time, like, William and Agnes are, like, making love in the apple orchard. And I think it's really, like, the way it's written in the book is, like, so interestingly creative, because basically it talks about, like, they're in this barn with the apples, and it's talking about how you have to, like, cultivate the apples during a certain season so they can't be disturbed or whatever. And then basically Maggie O'Farrell's like, but they were being disturbed. And she was like, and the apples, because of the rhythm that was happening, are falling off of the table, whatever. And the way it's written is just like, oh, okay, so they're getting it on.
Disturbed.
Yeah, they're being disturbed. And I was like, that's a really, like, talented way of writing that scene.
Yeah,
and then also,
that table shook.
Yes, also the scene, and this is a spoiler, but again, it's Hamnet. Hamnet passes away. The scene where he passes away in the novel is, like, I think actually I would say I prefer the novel version, because the way it's written is really beautiful, and they kind of get into it, but it's like his twin sister's sick, and he, like, lays down and he wears, like, her clothes, so that way, and he like kind of forces his clothes onto her, so that way it, like, looks like they've switched places, and they get into it, but, like, the way it's written in the book is, like, it's so really captivating and mesmerizing. And so he's like, this will confuse death. And basically I was curious if they were going to show death, because in the book it's written like death is, like, actually, like, a person in the room type of thing. Whereas
they imply it. It's like she says she can see it, which I almost found more impactful, maybe.
Yeah. I think, like, it was just reading it, and the way it was written was kind of crazy. But I will say, like, watching the movie emotionally impacted me more than reading the book. But, and then basically, I think when he wakes up in the book, he's dead. Sorry. He doesn't wake up. He's dead. Whereas in this one, he was, like, still kind of alive and was, like,
they're
suffering.
trying to save him,
And I will say, I thought that scene was a little bit too dramatic with, like, the choking and the gagging and, like, whatever.
I did too.
But then once he actually passes away and Jessie Buckley lets out this guttural, like, cry, that's when I kind of was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
That, I was like, that's Best Actress right there.
It was so crazy. It really felt like, while I was watching it, like, there's certain actors, and Jessie Buckley has always been one of my favorite actors. Like, even under the rate when she was kind of, like, not really big yet, she always just really stood out to me in everything she was in. And also an amazing singer. I listened to her she was in Cabaret with Eddie Redmayne, and I listened to that cast album constantly.
Interesting.
Because she's so amazing in that too. She's, like, the most talented person. And also, I love when talented people are also really cool in real life, and she seems really fun.
Yeah.
Anyway, she's one of those actors who, when I watch them, I'm like, I don't feel like I'm watching acting. I feel like I'm really just witnessing, like, this
she is it
character. Yeah. And it was that scene that she let out this, like, it was like this pause before she let out the, like, that guttural cry. And it was just, like, this grief. Like, it was, but there was a scene that really did almost get me before that happened, where she's giving birth to the twins, and she has this flashback, and I'm sure they probably go more into it in the book. It felt like they didn't go into it enough in the movie, but it's like she's her mom dies when she's young. And they like won't let her see her, it's flashing back. She's like kind of hallucinating while she's giving birth, because it's obviously, you know, you're giving birth in the like you don't have medicine, whatever. And so it's like kind of this crazy scene, but she like calls out, like she's just like, I want my mom.
Oh,
and,
that got
like,
me too. That's when I
cry,
started like,
I was like, oh, I'm not explaining it well, but it was just like the cry that she...
Yeah, and she just kept saying, like, I want my mom. I want my mom.
So sad.
And I was like, oh my God.
That was a lot for me.
Yeah. And it's interesting because the family relationships, I'm curious, did you find yourself confused at all? Because I was like...
Yeah, I kept forgetting whose parent was who.
Yeah. Because I was like, I thought to myself at one point, I was like, I'm kind of glad I read the book, because I was like, I'd be like not really aware of who these people are. And there's, like, a lot more of a role of, like, Will's parents in the...
Yes. Played by Emily... The mom is played by Emily Watson, and she is an amazing actor. Like, every time she's in anything, she's just amazing.
And I think what's really interesting also about just this story in general is because people think about, like, these time periods, honestly, up until, like, birth control was invented, where it's just like, oh, you have 16 kids, maybe 4 of them die, whatever.
Right.
Like, we just, like, it
Pretty
wasn't...
much every family has had a child death.
Right, exactly. And so you think, like, oh, they probably just dealt with it better.
Yeah.
But I think, like, because Will's mom talks about how she had also lost, like, I think it was 2 daughters.
Yeah.
Prior to this, and you can tell how it's still affecting her, and it's like, no, the loss of a child is the loss of a child, whether you have 15 children or 3.
Yeah.
You know, and whether, you know, the plague is rampant and 4 of your children have died, all 4 of those are like, and I think like that is interesting to remember, is like sometimes we think about like these time periods and like it's so far in the past, it's like people just died and they got on with it. But I think like you have to remember, like, people feel things back then as they do now.
Yeah.
And like grief is grief.
Yeah.
How did you feel about Paul Mescal?
So when I watch Jessie Buckley act and I don't think she's acting, it feels like I'm really watching it. Mm-hmm. I don't feel the same way about Paul Mescal.
Yeah.
I think Paul Mescal... I think in the past, like, I almost feel like as he's become more famous, I've noticed that his acting, no matter... Okay. I think he's a little overrated as an actor. I think in some things he's been in, he, like, fits the role really well. Like, he was great in After Sun, Normal People. But, like, I don't know why. It just feels like lately, like, he's in these roles where he's just really overshadowed by the other actors in the scene. Like, in the movie. And this was one of them where it's just like, I mean, you're up against Jessie Buckley. And it's like, obviously. But I just was like,
I think... he does well in the, like, brooding moments, but when he's just being, like, Shakespeare, and there's, like, there was this moment where it was, like, he was, like, kind of drunk and, like, writing at night, and he was just, like, frustrated or whatever.
Yes.
I was like, it's too much. Paul Mescal, you're too animated for me.
Well, he also gave this, he gave a To Be or Not To Be.
Yeah.
And I'd heard a lot of people talk about it, and...
I'm curious, like,
I didn't like that scene.
But you know what I thought was interesting was I was listening to the director, Chloe Zhao.
Yeah.
She was talking about how, so English is her second language. She originally wasn't even going to, like, she didn't want to direct this film, but then she kind of, like, felt drawn to it. Yeah. And they decided to put, like, the To Be or Not To Be speech, or, like, some of the, like, Shakespearean lines in it. Mm-hmm. There's, like, basically the whole play at the end. And she was like, the person asked, like, how does that, you know, how did you feel, like, how did you interpret Shakespeare, considering, like, it's your second language? And she was like, honestly, I don't understand a lot of it. And she was like, but, you know, Paul Mescal, she referred to him as, she was like, I was telling him about it, and he was like, listen, you can translate this word for word if you want, but, like, to understand Shakespeare, you don't need to understand the words. If the actor is doing it well enough, you understand the feeling. And I was like, you know what? That's incredibly
so true,
wise.
because I don't ever understand a word of Shakespeare, but if you're watching it, you should be able to know what's happening without understanding what they're saying. Yeah,
so I think, like, that was interesting. But I think, like, Jessie Buckley was acting circles around him.
She was, but also, I gotta say, I think his name is It's Jacoby Jupe, I want to say. He played Hamnet.
He was great.
I was like, if he had been nominated for an Oscar, Because Paul Mescal was not nominated, and a lot of people were like, he was snubbed, and I'm like, he wasn't. We're good.
No, but if he had been,
but if he was so good. He was
incredible.
his crying was just like very emotional, and he and his sister. I felt very sad for his sister too.
Yeah, because not only like his sister, but his twin.
So you feel, I think twins have this like physical thing where it's like, if you lose, like when he died, it was like a part of her was missing. She lost like her playmate because they played together, but also it's just like it was very emotional. But something that really was interesting to me, I don't know if you read this, but I didn't realize. So Noah Jupe played because at the end of the movie they are doing like they show actually it was a couple things to say. So Jessie Buckley and her brother, played by Joe Alwyn, who I really, really liked. I actually, and I love Joe Alwyn as an actor. I think he's great. He actually, to me, stood out acting-wise more than Paul Mescal because, again, I didn't feel like when Paul Mescal was acting, I feel like he's acting. Joe actually felt like I was like, they seem like brother and sister.
Honestly, I think Joe maybe would have made a better Shakespeare.
Maybe. I think there's a few people who would have maybe made a better Shakespeare.
Who else?
Well, I don't know. I'm just saying. Like, I just think I think Paul Mescal. I've seen people say Josh O'Connor, which I was like, yeah. Maybe. I think Paul Mescal physically fits him, but I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, they go and see because Shakespeare. It pissed me off. He's been gone this entire movie, and even when Hamnet dies, it's like he's not there for it. Yeah. And it's because he's like in London working on his plays. And so then he's gone like throughout the whole movie. And this is where I think it would have been beneficial to not have someone like Paul Mescal, because I think you're focusing too much on the Paul Mescal of it all. And then it's like, it makes more sense in the book where he's not really shown a lot. Yeah. And then you can't really connect with him. But I felt like I was angrier at Shakespeare because it was Paul Mescal, maybe. Yeah. I don't know if that makes sense.
I think you get angry at Shakespeare in the book too because, and this was a thing that wasn't mentioned, but there's like he comes home from London and he gives his wife Agnes this like gold bracelet. Yeah. And she's like kind of like a little bit witchy. So sometimes she like puts her thumb between people's hands and she can like see their whole life. And so she touched this bracelet and something about it, she could tell he had been sleeping with other women. And she like gets super angry at him, but then he kind of maybe because it would have made him even more hated. Yeah.
And so he disappears, and this is all a long-winded way to get to this, but basically she gets he's done this play, Hamlet. Yeah. Now I'm getting the names confused. Yeah. Hamlet.
You see how it happens?
I know. But that's not why. I'm not suddenly like anyway, so she and her brother go to see this play, and we were laughing because it was like they are standing they're standing the entire time for this play. Yeah. It's like a 3-hour play, and they're standing the whole time. And I was like, they really had to stand during plays back then?
I don't think so. I think like it probably.
If you were in the mosh pit, you did.
A lot of people brought like little pillows or something to sit on.
But how would you see the stage? What if people in front of you were standing? Exactly.
I think it's the same problem we have today.
So she's like
a few hundred years later, we're still solving the same issues.
I don't know, because most people are sitting in chairs. So
if you're at a concert, nothing makes me angrier.
When you're sitting.
Yeah, and it's like people are standing, and then I guess I have to stand now too. When we went to that Panthers game, these people were standing. I was like, nothing's even happening. Why are you standing? Now I have to stand.
Yeah.
Anyways,
that's fair. Okay, but so they were. It was just kind of funny because she was just like, she had never been to a play. She didn't know the concept of a play. She starts interacting with the actors at one point. She's amazed, and she gets really mad because, the play is happening, and she's like, that's not Hamnet. Yeah. She's like, you're not my son.
Yeah, she's talking out loud, and everyone's like, shh, lady.
Yeah. And it ends up culminating into this very beautiful moment. So I guess we are giving spoilers. Spoiler. Yeah. But
it's in the trailer.
Whatever. Yeah, it is actually in the trailer. But she reaches out at one point. Hamlet.
Yep.
Hamlet. The character is on the floor, and it's this like very emotional scene. And then she like reaches out and touches his hand because she's just like, she's having this moment where she's thinking kind of like it feels like it's her son. Right. Like she's almost like having this moment, this like last moment that she could have had with her son, maybe. I don't know. And she's holding his hand, and then it's like other people are reaching out. It's like actually very emotional. It really, that also choked me up a little bit. And the actor is like also, he's engaged. I'm saying the actor as Hamlet. Yeah. But there's an actor playing him. Anyway, it's a really beautiful scene. It was very...
That really touched me
too. And it's like a very nice and she feels like closure. It's like closure from it. But the actor that played Hamlet was Noah Jupe, who I don't know
Hamnet.
The actor that played Hamlet in the play is Noah Jupe. And the actor that played Hamlet in the play is Noah Jupe. Okay. Is an actor named Noah Jupe. Okay. And he's the kid, he was like in The Quiet Place. He's like in a lot of movies and shows. He's really great. But he is Hamnet's brother in real life. He's I guess his name is Jacoby.
Oh, I thought you were I thought you were referring to Jacoby Jupe. I was like,
at first I was, and then I made my way to that. They're brothers in real life, and I thought that was really beautiful. First of all, they're both great actors. Yeah. Noah, who I remember from like again A Quiet Place, I'm like, he is like he's like really grown up. Yeah. And anyway, I was watching like interviews with the cast, and he was talking about how emotional or how like kind of full circle it was that he got to sort of finish his brother's story. Oh yeah. And it was, as playing Hamlet.
Yeah. That is wonderful. Hamlet.
I thought I was like really touched by that, and also I had no idea that was his brother until after I saw the movie, because I knew the actor, but I was like, oh, they're brothers in real life. Like, that's so cool. Yeah.
I loved, this was such a small detail, but it's like before Hamnet like crosses over, basically, where he's like kind of on the bridge of death, they do this thing where they basically put this like black cloth over the camera, so you're like seeing Hamnet through the black cloth, and it just like it fits the setting and the vibe of the movie so well. Like, it's such a creative way to show that he is like passing over, before he like goes through.
I'm not sure I remember that.
It's like a black sheet, kind of like a see-through black cloth that like kind of, and you can see it like moving over the camera and stuff. I thought it was like a brilliantly creative decision. Yeah. I mean, the whole movie is kind of beautifully shot.
It is beautifully shot.
It's very natural. Like, I mean, I loved the whole theater, or not the whole theater, the whole time you were like, does she only have that one dress?
Oh my God, this dress. So I don't want to harp on it, because I feel like I harped on it too much after the movie. But Jessie Buckley's character wears a red dress it's the same red dress. She wears it through pregnancy. She wears it after, like post Hamnet death. It is crazy. She wears the same dress the entire movie.
But it's very in character, and it's interesting because there's always the joke that, well, not joke, but theory that like William Shakespeare hated his wife because in his will he designated her to have his second best bed. But in the book, like, it's interesting, she hypothesized, Maggie O'Farrell hypothesized, explains it by saying, like, she was like, this is the bed that, like, I had our children on. This is the bed that, like, you can make all the money, get a nicer bed, but this is the bed that, like, our marriage bed, the bed that we lived on. And I think, like, you could see that kind of maybe with, like, that dress, too, where, like, and you see, like, actually, I noticed once Hamnet dies, she does change her dress into, like, a brown, almost, like, morning color dress.
She's back in that red dress when she goes to see the play.
Yeah. But she's, like, a very simple, like, nature person. And it felt like it didn't feel like a set. They filmed in Wales, but like the houses, the terrain, where they were, like it felt like the most realistic depiction of this time I've like seen on film almost. Yeah. Where it's like things were dirty and gross and also beautiful and natural and blooming and,
At one point they show London. Yeah. And it's so... Ooh. Like, you're like, oh, like, any thought you had of Shakespearean time in London, if you were romanticizing it slightly, it's real, like, it was, like, not, like, you wouldn't want to be there past dark,
Exactly. I always think of that line from White Lotus season 2, where, what's-his-face is like, this is the greatest time in history to be alive. Like, before this, like, any time before this, you would have been struggling. Yeah. Before penicillin, before paved roads, before, owning more than one dress. Yeah. Like, life sucked. And the only thing you had, like, you could tell when people were watching the Shakespeare play, I mean, kind of like how people do now, like, they were so enraptured because it's kind of just like, this is their escapism. Yeah. And to deal with those people are, like, dealing with so much death all the time, to, like, see it expressed like that, I'm sure was, like, beautiful. Yeah. It's a beautiful film. I don't know if it'll win Best Picture, but I think Jessie Buckley will win Best Actress. And she's earned it.
She does absolutely deserve it. I think I don't think it will win Best Picture either. I think it's maybe between 3 movies, and I'm not sure if it is between Hamnet, but
yeah. We don't have to say what 3. We embargo usually our thoughts because we're competing in our Oscars.
Yeah, but I think it's clear. I'm not saying who, but I'm just saying I think it's clear like which movies are like maybe I don't know, but
I think you're right.
It was a beautiful movie.
Yeah. You know what's beautiful in a different way? Bone Temple.
We've been waiting to talk about this actually because we saw this a few weeks ago.
Yeah. I loved it.
I loved it too. We saw 28 Years Later, Bone Temple.
Yeah.
Which is a direct sequel to 28 Years Later. I mean, it picks up literally, well, first of all, they filmed it one right after the other, but they also, the movie picks up right after the end of the previous film.
I'm glad I literally watched the previous film for the first time earlier that day. So I literally was just like, and we're back in.
Well, it did make me laugh because I was like, oh, by the way, like my mom and I are going to see 28 Years Later. If you want to join, we invited friend of the pod, Eric, too. And you were kind of like, I've never seen 20 Years Later, but like, sure.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, you might want to see it.
I know.
You can't really just watch it without.
And you were right.
Yeah, I'm glad you did. But
I've now seen the whole franchise. Oh, except for the second one.
I haven't seen the second one. Most people say it sucks.
Yeah.
But it's this one's written by Alex Garland, but this one's actually directed by Nia DaCosta. Mm-hmm. And so it's basically, it picks up after the last one ends. It's about Spike, the child from the first one. I'm not going to go through the whole like plot. Like if you haven't seen, hopefully if you're listening to this part, like you've seen the previous one. Mm-hmm. But it's about Spike, who was the child from the previous one. He joins this cult. They're called the Jimmies. They're like inspired by the Teletubbies, basically.
Yeah,
or almost like a Jimmy Savile.
Inspired by the Teletubbies and Satan.
And but they're led by Jimmy, who is played by Jack O'Connell, who I love. I love Jack O'Connell.
He was like almost unrecognizable too. Like it took me a minute to be like, wait.
He looked pretty crazy. Yeah. They're such an interesting looking cult. Like, so they wear these white blonde horrible wigs.
Yeah.
And they wear these like track suits, and again they're kind of modeled after the Teletubbies.
Yeah.
Like they have a whole Teletubby thing going on.
Yeah.
And he wears like a tiara
sometimes
and gold chains. Yeah, it's very interesting. But they are brutal. And let me tell you, like, so at the end of the last movie they show up, the very end of it, and they kind of save Spike, so you don't really think that they're like, I didn't know that they were going to be like evil, because they're the main characters in the movie, and they are brutal.
Yeah, they like times the torture. I had to look away.
There was one scene where what do they call it? They call it like undressing, or something, or like we're gonna take their shirts off, and it is. You can probably guess what they do, but it is awful.
And you know what? When I was watching this movie, I was like, you know what? I love British turns of phrases. Like, I think the British really do it right. Like, just like oh, we're take their shirts off and they peel their skin off, or just like calling them.
I don't know if that's a British thing. I think that might just be what the cult called it.
Right, but I'm just saying, like, the writer, like, who wrote it.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, just calling them the Jimmies, and then, like, their reference for Satan is like Old Nick, which you don't,
which is a thing apparently. But
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
And just like the way it's written. Also, one thing I love about this franchise is they throw so many characters in that you think it's like, oh, they're going to be a main character.
Yeah.
And you never know which one is and which one's going to die.
I said that after we saw it. One thing I loved about this is like it was so unpredictable. In my opinion, maybe other people don't agree, but I felt like anytime there was like a fight, I was not sure who was going to win. I wasn't sure who was going to maybe become a new character and who was going to die in the fight. Like, because it's always like they had to fight each other.
Yeah.
And they'd introduce these new characters and you're like, oh, this is the person that's going to save Spike, or this person's going to, and it's like, nope, actually, never mind. Like, they're not making it. And so, but meanwhile, so I want to talk about Ralph Fiennes because he is phenomenal in this movie, but in the weirdest way possible.
You know what I forgot is like last year Conclave, this year
also
Satan.
Last year 28 Years Later. He was in that too.
I was like, he is having so much fun in this role, but also he is phenomenal. Like he's
a great comedic actor too.
Yeah. But he also is like a great like serious actor. Like,
well, obviously, yeah.
Well, yeah. But I mean, like, serious in that, like, I'm like, I would love to sit down and you give me some life advice.
I just love his voice. He's so Shakespearean.
He's
like,
so calm.
He's so calm. I feel, like, safe with him.
Yeah.
And so he returned as Dr. Ian Kelson. And in this movie, he's maintaining the Bone Temple, which, if you know from the last one, he has this, like, crazy... He's kind of this, like, he's not crazy, but he's, like, feels like kind of is. He's, bit like, odd. A bit odd. Yeah. He's, like, isolated, and, you know, he's, so he is trying to turn this infected alpha male named Samson, not into a human, but just trying to bring back his consciousness, I guess. And so Samson keeps visiting Ray Fiennes. And he basically deduces that Samson is, like, fueling an addiction to the morphine that he keeps giving him. So, obviously, he keeps, like, shooting him this morphine so that way he'll, like...
calm down
and not kill him, yeah. Because the alphas are, like, these big...
Yeah. Big dudes.
And, basically, his humanity kind of resurfaces and they form this, like, unlikely friendship. And so, and that includes, like, they're, like, dancing together.
Yeah.
They take naps next to each other. So he obviously, like, it's, like, this kind of crazy thing.
It almost is like this, he's basically talking about, like, you know, treatment for a mental condition.
Yeah.
Because they don't, in the movies, they don't call them zombies. They call them the infected.
Yeah.
And he's, like, basically saying, like, you just need something that's, like, clearing, basically, the psychosis.
And it really made me think about, like, all other zombie movies, or, like, zombie show, like, media. I'm just like, could they have done this in The Walking Dead?
Maybe. But you know what I think is interesting, actually, is the previous one really does hint at that because a woman gives birth to a child and the child is not infected. Usually, if you are infected with something that is like, you know, whatever, when you give birth, like, it would pass on to the child. But because it's something that's like a mental whatever's going on, it's not like being passed down, I think.
I'm not a doctor. Growing up and being like, yeah, my mom was a zombie. like how crazy would that be that you finally found out your heritage and it's like your parents were zombies?
That is crazy.
But I mean, you're not
in that world though, like
crazy.
Yeah.
So, but I really did like this movie. It was weird as hell though because there is such a tonal shift in this movie and kind of the last one, but like especially there's one scene where it's just, like, the most wild, like, it's, like, literally, like, a mosh pit. Ray Fiennes is pretending to be a devil.
Oh, yeah.
He's pretending to be the devil, and they're all, like, dancing, and it's, like, really crazy. And while I was watching it, I was literally like, this is so different from 28 Days Later.
Yeah.
Like, it's just crazy.
I kind of liked it better. Like, it was both fun and serious and, like, emotionally interesting.
My hot take is I actually like these movies better than 28 Days Later.
Maybe I watched it too late, but when I watched 28 Days Later, I was like, this is fine.
That's how I felt. And I'm not sure why. And I thought that's
why
like
it was such a phenomenon. Yeah.
Well, but I'm not sure why it just doesn't hit like it doesn't stick with me.
Maybe,
but I felt the same way when I watched it. I was like, maybe because I had watched The Walking Dead so long ago, and Walking Dead like low key kind of, well, I don't know. It's a very similar story. One
of those things where like so many things came out after that played on it that it's like if we had seen it before those things, maybe it would have hit harder.
Because the way it's filmed, it's like gritty. It's almost like on a video camera. Like it's very like. I think it was kind of groundbreaking at the time, the way they filmed it, but it just doesn't feel that way when I'm watching it.
Friend of the pod, Eric, told me it was filmed on an iPhone, I think.
Or maybe it was I told you. The last 28 years later, they did use iPhones to film
interesting.
Not the whole thing, but some of it, I think.
And I think also there's such a unique Britishness to it that I think like feel like they just feel like real Brits, you know? And it reminds me almost of like season 1 of Black Mirror, where you're like, oh, these are random Brits who are killing it.
And that was how 28 Days Later was.
Yeah.
Because Cillian Murphy was not really known yet.
Yeah.
And I think... And I'm glad you agree with that because I've kept that to myself, but I feel brave saying that now that like I just really, I don't know, I appreciate 28 Days Later for what it is. As far as like watchability, I find like.
I'll probably never watch it again.
The last 28 Years Later, the previous one to this movie, there's like a scene in it that is so suspense. Like I was just on the edge of my seat the entire time I was watching it. And that's not to say, again, I think 28 Days Later is a great movie. I just, personally, it didn't connect with me as much. But that being said, okay, we are getting into some spoilers, but I just want to talk about this a little. But, spoiler, at the very end, Cillian Murphy shows up.
Oh, yeah.
His character shows up. He has a daughter now.
Yep.
And it's kind of like leading it. It's just the very end of the movie, but it's like, it was kind of exciting. Like,
yeah, to see how the two worlds come together.
Yeah.
I think they did that well, and it'll be interesting.
But they didn't. So they've just now confirmed that they're making a third one. I thought they were making these consecutively.
Me too, because the kid's gonna age.
I know.
That's a scary thing.
And that was
Stranger Thing.
We talked about that at the end of this one, where like you can tell they filmed it consecutively, which was great because the kid doesn't age. Like, he looks the same, and I think that's always really because like kids that age, they just grow.
Yeah, they grow
like
fast.
They're suddenly taller than every adult, and you're like, what?
Yeah.
So I liked it a lot.
Me too. I think it was
I'm
good
glad we saw it.
Addition to the zombie universe.
Yes.
And I think like the stuff with Samson really touched me too, of just like seeing his humanity, and kind of like there's like a flashback scene where you kind of like he's in his head, but he's like picturing like what life was like before.
Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah.
It was trippy.
It was, and he was a child, you know, because it's been 28 years.
Yeah.
Which I keep forgetting, like, how much time has passed. And it's also interesting to see these little pockets of humanity and how they're, like, carving out these different, like, areas for themselves, you know? Like, just to see how different people respond.
Very true.
Yeah. But I think it was great. Highly recommend. Go see it. I mean, well, we spoiled it, but if you haven't, if you're still interested, go see it.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, I think that's all we have for you guys today. As always, thank you for joining us. Thanks for popping in.
Yay.
Please like, rate, review, share with your zombie friends.
And your alive friends.
Yeah. And
we talked a lot about death this episode.
We did.
I'm sorry. If you were coming to us for an escape, we did not do a good job of that.
I feel like we talked about death, but like we made it fun. Also, I always talk about death. Yeah,
that's true. But I would say like a good 5 of our our topics were death when you think about it.
Yeah.
Oh
well. We hope you enjoyed it at least, and that you'll come back next week, because we'll be right here waiting for you.
Yes,
Until
we will.
then, have a great week.
Bye.
Bye.